Since some of you did not attend seminar and haven't watched the seminar recorded video, I'm going to walk you through the steps on completing lesson 3. I'll first walk you through that one, then I'll do a second video to show you about the steps for the midterm project. So in the course room, you'd click on lessons to, of course, come here to the lesson 3 folder, and of course you need to have McGraw-Hill Connect in order to complete this assignment. So you scroll down and click on the lesson 3 assignment, and it's going to show you my view, and I'll have to switch it to your view in just a second. So give me So when you go into Connect, this is what you would see for the lesson 3 assignment. And the instructions are up top that you're going to be completing matching, ranking, and true and false questions to demonstrate your understanding of the management challenges, career readiness, and the types of plans, and how companies form their mission, vision, and value statements. It's worth 40 points. There's 8 questions. You're allowed 3 times to resubmit this assignment. So there's 8 questions, total 40 points. This is attempt 1 of 3. So if every day that it's late, there's a 2% late penalty. If you click to use the reference links, you lose 1% of your score. So you click continue. The first question is that popped up was this one on KSOs needed for career readiness. It is a keyboard navigable alternate version. It's done this way to make sure that we're ADA compliant for those that have different needs visually. So this is helping you, if you read the ebook, if you read your textbook or ebook for the chapters, you would have read about the KSAOs, and you'll see that they're important for being career ready, and you need to be evaluating your KSAOs frequently so that you can improve upon them. And having knowledge of them will help you as a manager when you're having to evaluate other people's KSAOs. The goal is to challenge your knowledge of these and your need for them. So you'll match each worker to the KSAO that his or her scenario best exemplifies. You can click on the ebook for assistance if you don't have the physical textbook. You can click on references so that you know which chapter it's from. So you can see that this is from chapter 1 and it's section 107, which was that was the learning objective. So you know that's in chapter 1. So down here when you scroll, you see these are the KSAOs: proactive learning orientation, new media literacy, professionalism, work ethic, social intelligence, computational thinking, networking, and decision making. If you read chapter 1, then you have a better understanding of this section. You would match each of the options above to the items below. So for instance, May has a keen ability to form meaningful relationships with coworkers. People confide in her and feel that she really listens and understands them. May enjoys these one-on-one interactions at work. When you look up here, is that representation of proactive learning orientation, new media literacy, professionalism, work ethic, networking, computational thinking, social intelligence, or decision making? Depending on which of those numbers you believe it is, you click on this arrow and you then scroll to put one of the answers. So let's say I think that this is, let's say I think that it's professionalism and work ethic. Maybe that's what I think it is. I could think that it's social intelligence, or maybe I think it's networking. So let's say I think it's social intelligence, and I click on that. Then I go to the next one. It says, Caleb knows everybody and has a large group of friends in the professional community. Parties and events are his comfort zone. When I scroll up here, I say, maybe that's, I don't know, networking. I don't know. Let's see. Networking is number 6. So let's say I say it's number 6. Then this one says Sydney is on top of the latest social media trends. She has thousands of Instagram followers and a successful personal YouTube channel. I scroll up and I say, well, social media, well, is that social intelligence? Is that proactive learning orientation? Is that new media literacy? Maybe I think it's new media literacy. Maybe. So I scroll down and I click on that. Then I see that Flynn is a model employee in many ways. He arrives early for work and is always willing to go above and beyond his formal job duties, even if it means staying late or working on Sundays. I scroll up to this and I'm like, I don't know, maybe this is professionalism and work ethic. So I scroll down and I click on that. And then I see that Abina is always the first to volunteer for new roles and projects at her organization. She truly loves learning. I scroll up and I think, I don't know, maybe it's proactive learning orientation. And I click on number 1. Then I say, read, Javier is great at making choices. He can assess options and decide which is best for his work group with speed and confidence. So I scroll up and I say, is that computational thinking or is that decision making? Oh my goodness. And I go down and I say, maybe it's decision making. And I say, oops, which one is decision making? And that's 7. So I click and I scroll down and select 7. Then I see Carrie is an analytics whiz. She can take huge amounts of data that seem incoherent to many people and use them to make projections and diagnose problems for her organization. And I scroll up and I say, I think that's computational thinking, and I click on 5. And then I select next. Now, at any point, if I need to take a break or whatever, I can click on save and exit. Don't click on submit because it'll submit your assignment. Then I go to the next question. Question 2 is developing your career readiness. Again, and this one is looking at 6 categories, and each statement describes a person engaged in an activity that develops career readiness. You have to read the statements, then match each person to the category of developing career readiness. And just like the last one, I see that there's these options: self-awareness, experiment, model others possessing and target competencies, so on and so forth. I scroll down and I read that Gabriella thinks she may want to start her own company, but she's not sure she's the entrepreneurial type. She takes a few validated assessments of entrepreneurial potential to get a better idea. And I scroll up, I'm like, I don't know, is that learning from educational activities? Is that learn from on the job activities? Is that building self-awareness? Is it experiment? I don't know. So I'm trying to narrow these down. I could click on the ebook. I can click on references and see that's also in chapter 1. I'm like, oh, okay, if I click on ebook, I can click on that and it can take me there where I can read up on that section. If I have the physical book, I can just click on the physical book. So let's just say I'm like, well, I know it's not seeking experience from student groups and organizations. So I don't know, there's some assessments. I see it says assessments. And it's not on the job activities because I'm talking about starting my own. And could I be building some? I don't know. So maybe I say it's 3. I don't know. I think it's probably 3. So I click on 3. Then it says Chandler wants to work in HR and would like to increase her knowledge of employment law. She signs up to attend a local continuing education seminar on employment law. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Continuing education. Maybe it's seek experience from student groups and organizations. I don't know. Or is it Is it model others? No, it's not that. Is it learn from educational activities? I guess. I don't know. Is it seek experience? I don't know. So let's say I said, I don't know. I just went ahead and went with 3 again because, oh, I can't. I can't. What am I going to do? Well, maybe I'm not really sure. So I scroll down and I say, Spencer wants to be a professional pianist after earning his music degree. He's having trouble booking gigs. He gets in touch with several successful musicians and asks if they would help have coffee with him and share wisdom on breaking into the music scene. I scroll up and I see seek experience from student groups and organizations, model others possessing targeted competencies. Maybe is that? I don't know. So, what I'm saying with this is that sometimes before you jump right in, you should read all of the options below and then try to figure it out, if that makes sense. So if I scroll down, I see Emery asked his summer internship supervisor if he could switch between different jobs each month so that he could obtain as many new skills and experience as possible. Well, summer internship supervisor, that would let me know that's on the job activities, right? When I look and see Jaime is working, that could either be Jaime or Jamie, is working on a degree in landscape architecture, and he has decided to run for the office of vice president of his university's chapter of the American Society of Landscape Architects. Um, I can scroll up and then say, um, well, which one of these could this be? So all I'm saying is that read these first. I gave you this example because what most people do is they start right here and they just start doing the answers, right? Which is what I did on that first example. I'm showing you the most effective way is to read. You read these, then read all of these before you start to, select answers, right? Before you start saying, oh, this is what the answer is, and then all of a sudden you're not sure. So, if you ever go on to a new thing and you didn't finish, it'll let you can also be able to check to see. It'll show you what you completed. When you scroll on, you'll see that there's a process for managing career readiness, and there are some scenarios. The goal of this exercise is to challenge your understanding of the process for managing career readiness as outlined in figure 1.5 in your textbook. So you'll see these are drop-down menus. Sarah wants to develop her cross-cultural competency, so she finds 2 international student events to attend in the upcoming semester to help her learn more about these cultures. Unlike the last 2 examples where there were options above that would correspond to the answers below, this one has their own individual, multiple choice. So if Sarah wants to develop her cross-cultural competency, so she finds 2 international student events to attend in the upcoming semester to help her learn more about these cultures, referring to figure 1.5 in your textbook, is she doing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, or is this an example of a person who's improperly using the process? So what would she be doing? All right. She already knows that she wants to develop her cross-cultural competency. So she's already identified the KSOs she wants to develop. Determine which concepts are relevant for developing your targeted KSOs. Well, she's okay. Did she already do that? Experiment with implementing a few small steps aimed at developing your KSOs. Well, she's seeking 2 student events to attend to help her learn more. So that would seem most appropriate, right? Then here, Wilder wants to be as career ready as possible, so he reads through the list of KSOs in table 1-2 of his textbook and decides to work on improving every single one of them this semester. So he's looked through the list and he decides to work on improving every single one of them this semester. So let's say he's just identified, right? Imani is about to enter the job market. She comes through the list In table 1-2, she chooses self-awareness and oral written communication to work on. She knows these are two important skills to develop before submitting resumes and going on job interviews. So she's determined which concepts are relevant, right? Then you have Rick. See, so on and so forth. You go all the way through till you get to the last one. When you're done, you go on to the next question. This is on mission, vision, and value statements. Which chapter is this from? It shows that it's from chapter 5. And it shows you this section, right? So you know that it's from chapter 5. You can refer to your physical book or your ebook. And it says, read the descriptions and select whether the description pertains to a mission, vision, or value statement. Remember, I explained if you watch the lecture videos for the lecture video for chapter 5, I explained it. If you attended the seminar, I explained. Mission says why the company is in business, like what's the purpose. Vision is saying where the company wants to be in the future. Values are the foundational principles and beliefs that help make the organization reach towards those mission and visions, right? So the first one describes the image the organization wants to project, inspires enthusiasm and encourages commitment, illuminates the organization's attitude towards its employee, is intended to guide all of the actions in the organization, is easily understood and well articulated, outlines the organization's customer base, expresses the company's worldview, right? We go all the way down. Here's all the different ways. So let's just say I've answered these, and you just click on here and you're selecting one of the 3. What do you think it is? Right? You come all the way down. It's easily understood and well articulated. And I'm going to say, okay, that's the mission statement. Outlines the organization's customer base. Well, that's the mission statement, all right? That's what I'm saying. Expresses the company's worldview. Well, maybe that's my vision statement. Is appropriate for the times and for the organization. I don't know. So I'm going to select, or I do know, but I'm just saying, I don't know, right? So these are the things you go through. Unchanging, as applicable in 100 years as it is today. You know, that would be your value statement. Your values really shouldn't change. Reflects high ideals. That can also be your value statement. You see how they and so that you know, they do switch up. They're not always in the same spot, so don't just start clicking through really quick thinking you have it. When you've answered all 12 of these, you then go to the next question, which is the 7 challenges to be an exceptional manager. If you notice at the top, these numbers are different, is because they may be randomized. So the first question for you may have been this one, while the first question for someone else could have been the last one. So these questions are randomized based on the times you come in. Now, with this one, it's another matching. So you've already learned that you read down here to see what the statement is. These are looking at the 7 challenges to be an exceptional manager. Where did this come from in the textbook? Remember in chapter 1. And we talked about the 7 challenges that we face. So you look at the 7 challenges, and then you scroll down and you read each of these scenarios before you select the challenge. Right? So that is, so like for instance, part of Mirren's role as operations manager is to make sure the company isn't wasting energy or creating excessive pollution in their operations. Well, you look and break this sentence down. Isn't wasting energy or creating excessive pollution. So when you come up here, which of these are dealing with those things? Is it ethical standards? Well, but what is really looking at? Managing for sustainability, the business of green? Most likely, because that's dealing with the environment. So I could click on that. Danica interviews many different types of people in her role with today's rapidly changing workforce. She knows it's important to hire the best person for each job opening she's filling. So I scroll up and I'm like, what am I looking for? Am I managing for diversity so the future won't resemble the past? It's not really focusing on happiness and meaningness, maintaining a competitive advantage, staying ahead of rivals. I scroll back down. She interviews many different types of people. Well, that's diversity, right? So I'd click on that and I'd say, there we go, diversity. And so going through all of this, as head of marketing department, Anthony makes an extra effort to make sure the company's advertising campaigns highlight its most cutting edge innovations. I scroll up and I'm like, cutting edge innovations. Maybe this is managing for information technology, dealing with the new normal. Am I managing for competitive advantage? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to say managing for information technology. Maybe. Is that what I'm doing? Or am I managing for competitive advantage? Let's go look. And I go back and say he's making extra effort to make sure the company's advertising campaigns highlight its most cutting edge innovations. So I'm going to go with information technology. I'm going to say 4. And then I go through and I do this for all the other people, the other scenarios. The next one takes me to planning and strategic management. When you click on it, it may take you somewhere else. And you're going to go through and you're going to rank. Now this one's different. The goal of this exercise is to challenge your knowledge of the strategic planning process. Which chapter did this come from? This came from chapter 5. And when you're thinking about the strategic management, it's having a well thought out plan with a strategy so you can deal with uncharted waters, right? When you have uncertain times. So you scroll through, and if you have the textbook, you can turn to chapter 5 and look for strategic management and planning. You can also look at it in the ebook right here. So place each of the steps in the planning and strategic management process below. Here's the steps. So what steps do they go in? Formulate the grand strategy and strategic tactical and operational plans. Establish the mission and vision. Implement the strategy. Maintain strategic control. Assess the current reality. So which ones come first? And you could turn around, and if you just randomly put stuff, you're gonna get random, results, which you probably won't end up right. So maybe I say, well, the first step, I'm gonna establish the vision and mission, and maybe that's what I'm gonna do. And then maybe I'm gonna say I'm gonna assess the current reality where we are, and then I'm gonna say I'm gonna formulate this grand strategy and the strategic, tactical, and operational plans. And then I'm going to have to implement it. And then I'm going to maintain strategic control. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe you select something different. Maybe you decide that you're going to assess the reality first, then establish the mission and vision. Right? Maybe that's how you choose to go. Then you click next. And then for me, what shows is the fundamentals of planning. It may show something different for you. This is looking at how the mission statement expresses why we're here, what the vision statement does, and then how those drive our strategic, tactical, and operational plans. This comes from chapter 5 again. And what you're going to be doing is recognizing what mission and vision statements and the 3 levels of planning look like in action, and to see how they relate to one another in an organization. So they provided a scenario about Dalton Scott, the CEO and president of a mid-sized fishing lure production company. You'll read this whole story, right? This paragraph, and you can see what their goals are. They have plans to grow the company by 50% over the next 5 years. And Sloan says that her department plans to introduce 10 revolutionary new lures. If you don't know anything about fishing, those are what you cast out there. And so that they're ready, excited, and they have some special project managers. They have designs complete. They're going to work to streamline the production tools to maximize efficiencies, to bring costs down. And it looks like the company's done some serious planning to support this tall tale of success, right? So here are the terms: strategic planning, tactical planning, operational planning, mission statement, vision statement. You're going to then go down and you're going to match each of the options to those. So remember, you're going to read them first. His company makes professional quality products that are accessible to the recreational angler. Is that the mission statement, the vision statement, the operational planning, tactical planning, strategic planning? His company makes professional quality products that are accessible to the recreational angler. Well, what is that? Well, if you don't know, let's look down and say the company wants to provide a chance for every person to reach his or her highest fishing potential without sacrificing their retirement savings to do it. To grow the company by 50% over the next 5 years. Her department plans to introduce 10 revolutionary new lures to the company's already exciting lineup of products over the next 2 years. Product managers have the designs complete now and are working to streamline the production tools to maximize efficiencies and bring down costs. So if I look and I remember that strategic planning is always long term, it's usually 3 to 7 years. Tactical planning is usually 1 to 3 years. Operational planning is usually a year or less. I come down and I say, well, over the next 5 years, I would say that's a strategic plan. That's number one, right? And I'm looking at the the department plans to introduce 10 revolutionary new lures, an exciting lineup over the next 2 years. Well, that makes me think of a tactical plan. So I'm going to say that's 2. When project managers have the designs complete, they're working to streamline the production tools to maximize efficiencies and bring costs down. I would say that's 3. Then what's the other 2 that are left? Vision and mission statement. So which are these 2? Which one's the vision statement and which one's the mission statement? And you would then select your answers. And when you're done, and remember, if you select the same answer as one of the other ones, guess what happens? It changes the other answer. It says, wait a minute, that can't be it. Because if you're saying that's that, which one is that? So you're saying, oh, wait a minute, no, that's right. So then you know. So at least you know that it'll switch it for you. You get to the last question. For me, the last question is the type of plans. And when I click to see which chapter this came from, it also came from chapter 5. And it says planning enables an organization to set goals, to formulate operational plans to achieve those goals. This activity is important because as a manager, you'll spend a great deal of time planning. The goal is to challenge your knowledge of the various types of standing plans and single-use plans. That is a key. You go to your textbook and look in chapter 5 where it talks about standing plans and single-use plans. Each description below, you'll match it to the type of plan that it describes. So here are the types of plans: policy, standing, program, project, procedure, single-use, and rule. Here are the descriptions. So when you read the description, this plan encompasses a wide range of activities or projects. When you look, you're like, okay, if you have read the chapter or if you haven't, and you go to chapter 5 and click on, you go to the section where it talks about plans and you zoom in where it talks about these 7 plans, then you can click to say which it is. This plan designates a specific required action. This plan outlines a set response to particular problems or circumstances. You keep going, right? This plan is best for activities that occur over and over again, right? So you click to say which one it is, and can only be one answer for each, right? And then when you're done, so let's say I'm just going to randomly click some answers, right? Because I know that I've been giving you guys a lot of the answers already. So I'm just going to randomly click. All right, and let's say I'm done, but I can go to save and exit, or I can go and click submit. So let's say I click submit, and it says you have 5 incomplete questions. You can now visit the question map so that you can see which ones that you haven't finished, and you can see that this is the one that you finished answering, and now you can click on the other ones to now be able to complete those, right? So it shows that 3 out of 8 questions are answered for this one, right? So you can then click right here to scroll through. Well, you can do that, or you can click right here, and it will then guide you through. So let's say I says, oh, well, let me click on this, right? And then after I finish answering the questions here, and I just say, oh, and I'm just gonna, I already said that one was 5. Then this one can't be. So then I'll say, just gonna click. And then I'll click and say, oh, click to submit. And then it tells me, right? So let's say you know, you could have been frustrated or whatever, right? But it says submit now for scoring, otherwise cancel to return your assignment. You can cancel to return, you can click the visit map. Let's say you click to submit, and then it shows that I got 16.67 out of 40 points correct, right? Because I didn't answer all of the questions. Total score 41.68. And I click to exit now. Now, I'm going to show you something before. Let me click on this. I'm going to go back in. And it reset me. And so so I then would have to go in to take it. And actually, this wasn't supposed to reset. It's supposed to let you pick up where you left off. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. It's a possibility that yeah, it's supposed, or maybe because I'm in a different view. So yeah, because it says on each new attempt, students revise their previous attempts. You're allowed to revise your previous attempts. Okay, so I think because of I'm the instructor, even though it's trying to show me, it wouldn't allow me to do it, but it'll allow you to revise it. So once you're done, you click to return to Blackboard. And so that's how you complete those type of activities inside of Connect. If you have any questions, send me an email. All right. Thank you.